what are we dealing today? We are dealing with digital platforms. Why do we talk about digital platforms? What are these? And we have some introduction on what is DIGILOGIC and a Q&A section there. So the talk today will be done by Carina and myself. So we switch between us, and we are recording this session. This will be also uploaded to the DIGILOGIC community platform. So that's always a possibility if you have registered there to review this and check with other presentations as well. And we have a Q&A section at the end of this session tomorrow. So about me, my name is Markus Without. I have a background in computer science and logistics, working here in Germany, Dortmund, for Fraunhofer. That's a research organization, University of Dortmund. I have some roles there as well. And we have a center of excellence on logistics and IT. And you can find out more about me on the community platform of DIGILOGIC. DIGILOGIC is a European funded project, or a project funded by the European Commission, that is all about how to foster the cooperation between digital innovation hubs in Africa and Europe, to bring in further the development of logistics approaches, smart logistics, new emerging technologies, and there are a lot of participants involved from Africa and from Europe. More can be found out on our website. The address is quite simple. It's digilogic.africa, and yeah, I leave it that way on DIGILOGIC. And within DIGILOGIC, we have these talks. So we want to inspire, to give some input of what kind of technology is available for smart logistics. But we also just have started a competition 2 weeks ago, where participants from Africa can apply for different challenges, and you can participate in a 3-day boot camp in Europe with relevant experts. You could enjoy support from experts from technology, business, and logistics, and have access to digital innovation hub facilities, and also enjoy marketing support to meet investors and uptakers. So there we invite you to participate in these challenges. I don't know the exact figure. I think up to 12 participants projects will be funded, and the number of bootcamp participants, maybe Charlotte, you can add something about that as well.
Yes, it's correct. So 12 participants will be accepted, and they will kick off with a boot camp, which will take place most likely in Europe in November. And then you will be able to enjoy half a year of mentoring and very close and dedicated support for the development of your idea and possibly a prototype to finally have a whole product in the end. So I think it's a very exciting program, and you're very welcome to apply on our website.
Okay, yeah, and if you want to do so, there you have the link here, DIGILOGIC Africa, the challenges. Proposals should be submitted by the end of August. And we have a webinar in July, 7th of July, where you can find out more. Please check our website to get more information about these challenges. I think it's a great opportunity for participants from Africa to get some support there. So, and the trips and the costs will be taken over by the DIGILOGIC project. Okay, so what else do we have with DIGILOGIC? We have talks like today, so where we give some input on smart logistics solutions. Just information, we offer services for company workshops. So if you have an idea and you want to drill down in more detail, we can do online sessions. And these are available with no cost. Simply get in touch with us. And also some coaching sessions to follow up the company workshops. And yeah, right now I would hand over to Carina for the next sessions. Carina, will you share your screen, or should I simply scroll down?
It would be nice if you continue sharing your screen, Markus.
Okay, so
okay.
Carina, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome also from my side. I'm very happy to give you a short keynote today on digital platforms, and I will basically talk a little bit about why do we actually talk about digital platforms so much, what are digital platforms. I will also try to give you some examples of digital platforms, and then we can also discuss a little bit challenges. So why is it different for the B2B sector than the B2C sector or C2C sector? And of course, we are also very interested in having your opinions on that. Markus, if you can go to the next slide, that would be helpful. Yeah, about me, I also work here at the Fraunhofer IML together with Markus. I have a background in economics, and my research field of interest are digital platform ecosystems, but also like new business models. And I apologize in advance, I have to leave around half, and then Markus will take over. So there was a little misunderstanding with the times on my side, but I think that won't be a problem. So thank you very much. So going to the next slide, I have brought you this graphic. So what does it show? It shows the development of tangible assets to intangible assets. So what we see here is that in 1975, most assets by companies or assets that derived value were tangible. So like buildings, land, production plants, physical capital. And what we see here is that in 2020, most assets that are held by companies or like are considered to be valuable are intangible assets. So it's like software, patents, brands, and data. And this transformation has a really huge impact on our economy. On the next slide, we can also see that the interest in platform increased, because what platforms are basically doing is they use those intangible assets like data or all kind of digital information and can make them valuable. So via platforms, you can trade data and information, you can connect people, and you really see the increase of intangible assets correlating with digital platforms. However, what is a bit stunning, or it's actually not a surprise, that most of the platform companies that are listed on the stock market can be found in the US. So it's like 20 platform businesses that are listed on the stock market in 2019. So it's a bit older, this graphic, but I think it's still true. So like Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, and all these big players are coming from the US. If you look at Europe and Africa, it's a little bit less. So it's like 4% and 1%. And also Asia is much larger than here. So only 4% of European platforms account for the European stock market, and the same holds true in Africa. And this really demonstrates the rising interest in digital platforms, but it also shows that especially here in Europe and potentially in Africa, we really need to step up our platform game. And on the next slide, I show you also the relevance for logistics, because we come from this idea that we first started with the Internet of data. So I am able to produce data. This data evolves into Internet of Things. So I'm also able to depict and show what can we do with this data. And we can really show like physical processes and visualize them. But what is really happening is now that we're transforming into an Internet of values, so that I'm able to generate new values with these digital information, so digital assets. So data is a value per se. And for logistics, it's true that today money is mostly earned with know-how advantages and information asymmetries. So it's not with the actual asset on the road, with the physical assets, but it's much more with the digital assets. And in this knowledge lies the potential of the new data and of generating new values also for logistics. Because we have an increase in Industry 4.0, so we have an increase in digitalization, we are able to bargain with blockchain technology. I think you already had like a previous session where you elaborated on blockchain technology. So blockchain basically helps to organize and to trade this data in a secure and transparent way between people. And where this happens is on digital platforms. So digital platforms are the place where all this data and value creation takes place. And on the next slide, you can see that logistics is transforming to become more digital. So this is actually a study from Germany, but I think it's also nice to see like how Germany is developing, and what the question here was asked to company representatives. So which digital technologies or applications does your company use in logistics? And right now we see that 74% use like warehouse management systems. A lot of companies actually already use sensor technologies, like 56%. Electronic freight documents are used by 24%, and so on. And what we also see is like that, of course, much more companies plan also to use additional digital technology. So for instance, the electronic freight documents, it's planned by another 30% of companies to be used in the next couple of years. Or what is also very, very relevant are tablets or smartphones in warehouses. So this will also be an increase. And what we see here is that logistics is getting more and more digital, and we are generating more and more data and information. And now the question is, can we use this? Can we monetize them? Can we derive a value from them via digital platforms? The next slide. Sorry for always saying next slide, but it's nicer, Markus, if you share. On the next slide, we also see some challenges that are experienced by logistics service providers. So as you all know, logistics really needs to connect a lot of actors and different parties. So a lot of data is created along all those supply chain processes, and these data streams have to be managed. And logistics service providers see an increasing demand and customization, and at the same time experience high levels of competition. So customers demand much more individual solutions because we get highly specialized in our industrial processes. But at the same time, logistics is a really, really price intense sector of the economy. So this is like a really big contradiction that companies experience. So on the one hand, providing like really good service, but at the same time being price efficient. And customers demand, for instance, a lot of transparency and ask, where's my product right now? Where do the components come from? So where does the product really come from? We see that especially in agriculture and in food supply chain. So especially here in Europe, people are very concerned with where the materials come from. So end consumers really ask, where's the cotton coming from? Where's this food coming from? Is it really true that it's coming from this and this place? Also, we have an increasing rise in sustainability demand. So what's the carbon footprint of the transport? So customers will get much, much more interested in also the ecological impact. So these are all like very increasing and specific customer demands that are increasing. And at the same time, we experience that logistics service providers have to transform into like digital service providers. So customers demand digital solutions. So for instance, here, if I order something, for me, it's very, sure that I want to have a tracking information of where my parcel is. So this is already self-evident for me. And therefore, companies really need to provide digital services and solutions to their customers. So to sum up, logistics is hallmarked by specialization on the one hand, and on the other hand, there are a lot of commodity processes and standard processes. So this means there are a lot of things that are actually very equal and common for all logistics service providers at the same time. So for instance, providing tracking solutions. This is very similar, but still logistics, everybody has its own solution. And what we see is that digital platforms can address these various challenges and use the potentials in logistics. So the next slide. We see that logistics must not only use some of the technologies I showed you, like warehouse management systems, but it really opens up to new technologies as well. So big data analytics, which is often a very essential part of digital platforms, becomes much, much more important in the future. Likewise, predictive maintenance, also blockchain technologies, not that much, but it's still a new topic, but it's rising. And I think what is really mattering here are big data analysis and artificial intelligence. And on the next slide, we will also see like how logistics perceives digital platforms and what kind of potentials we can have. So I elaborated on the challenges that we experience in logistics, and now we'll a bit talk about the potentials. So via digital platforms, we can offer our customers smart solutions and services. So digital platform is a place where the solution will live and work. And we can also, for instance, have an efficient resource allocation. So if I know which truck driver drives where and if the warehouse is full or not, I can really put the parts together and provide an efficient resource allocation for the customers. Also via platforms, I can increase the availability because I have a lot of much more people providing these services and solutions. I can collect the data, so I make much better use of the data. And of course, I can ensure an increase in transparency because maybe I use blockchain technologies and customers much better understand where the product's coming from. And then just a very simple thing, but with a huge impact for environmental issues is the paperless handling of processes. So if I have electronic freight documents, for instance, I can really save a lot of materials paper-wise. I can save a lot of water. I can save a lot of printing ink. And this will, of course, have a benefit for the environment. The same holds true for circular economy approaches. So going to the next slide. People are very aware that platforms will shape the logistics of the future. So this is 76% right now in 2019, say, or 20, say that platform providers will be important players in the logistics industry. And this is an increase of 10 percentage points compared to 2017. And digital platforms offer services such as free storage space or space in a container, and already 23% use digital platforms and 19% plan to use much more digital platforms. So awareness of digital platforms and logistics is definitely given. But what we unfortunately see on the next slide is that well-established logistics companies are giving up market shares. So what we here see is Amazon's investment in logistics is really rising over time. And especially here in Germany or Europe, you see a lot of Amazon service providers, a lot of Amazon logistics fleets. So what we really see is that Amazon delivers much more parcels or has an increasing market share compared to DHL, which is one of the biggest logistic companies in Germany. So big platform enterprises such as Amazon or also Uber take over the logistics market. So therefore, we really have to wonder, what can we do as logistics sector? So on the next slide, I put like a little conclusion. So we experience a transformation from third-party logistics providers to simple carriers, because with platforms, you also have a negative side. So with platforms, you can enter your information, but then in the end, only maybe price is the main criteria, and you will be just used for carrying the parcel or the goods and services. And at the other hand, we see an increase in fourth-party logistics providers. So companies that are very innovative, that are mostly startups and that operate with our own fleets or assets and can organize logistical processes. So traditional companies that wish to be successful in the platform game really have to understand how it works and what their role can be. Otherwise, well-established B2C and C2C platforms will take over. And for that, I will also give you a little theoretical input how platforms work. And what is really important here is that platforms on the left side are perceived to be multi-sided markets. So a digital interface where just one company interacts with its customers is not a platform. But what a platform does, it connects different kind of users. So the platform users derive interaction with the other market side. And then mostly we have a third or another market side, which we call a complementer. And those complementers provide additional services that enhance the value of the platform. So like best example is, for instance, Facebook. You can interact with each other. This gives you value and you enjoy interacting with each other. But then like third parties come in and provide, for instance, games or applications or additional features. So this enhances the value of the platform. And the platform provider's task is to connect all those different market sites, and those different market sites can interact with each other. And thereby the transaction costs are lowered due to the digital infrastructure, and market sites are integrated. So always think of platforms in like much more a triangle than just like one side or like the company interacting with its customers. And oh, I see, I have left something in German. We will later on like update it to English. I'm very sorry about this. What we see are, and why are digital platforms so successful? So what we experience is the economies of positive scale. So setting up a platform is very costly. Setting up the digital infrastructure, thinking about who I have to get on this platform is difficult. But when you once have established a platform, the cost of one additional user is zero. So if you join Facebook, Facebook does not have any cost because you join it. But at the same time, you increase the value of the platform because now a lot of people can connect with you. And this is what we understand as positive economies of scale. And platforms build on indirect network effects. So the more users you have on the platform, the more attractive it gets, and the more complementary providers or providers of additional services will join the platform. And this makes the platform even more attractive. So this is a path of growth that platforms build on. Platforms also use elements of openness. So they provide APIs, they provide software development kits so that other people can integrate into them and really build additional products. However, especially in the B2C and C2C sector, we see that the strong network effects can lead to market tipping and monopolization. So looking at Facebook or Google, we really can say these are monopolies with like the downside of monopolization. And on the next slide, we see that there are basically two types of different digital platforms. So we have transaction platforms. Transaction platforms are like the classical platforms we see. So they allow exchange of data, goods, and information. So classical examples would be marketplaces, social networks where people can exchange their information, but also mobility platforms such as Uber or IoT platforms where firms exchange their data. Then on the other hand, we have innovation platforms. These are really platforms that provide technological building blocks, so that help companies to build own services and products. And examples are, for instance, Amazon Web Service. So without, so they provide clouds and provide really like technical solutions. Android, which is providing operating systems for mobile phones, or also a German example would be a Bosch IoT suite. So Bosch is like a big industrial player that offers software solutions for its customers via the platform, and customers can also put in their own ideas. And then of course you have hybrid platforms. So these are platforms that combine those elements, and famous examples would be Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and Google. And I think on the next slide, we've brought you some examples, and I would be very happy to hand over to Markus.
Yeah, Carina, thanks a lot for your presentation, for your input. I will take over right now with the examples of logistics platforms in Africa, and will be available for the Q&A as well. So thank you, Carina.
Thank you very much.
So, yeah, starting with Kobo 360, that is one example of a logistics platform. It's a transaction platform that was founded 4 years ago and has offices in Western and Eastern Africa. You see the countries there. They provide both mobile and web application for shippers, freight forwarders, warehouses, and clearing service providers. So import-export clearing services. So bringing together many different roles, like we had in the slides before. So we have people that want to ship cargo, that can be manufacturers or companies that, or even individuals that order products and they need a shipment. Then freight forwarders, they want to have orders, shipment orders, and they want to yeah, ideally have full truckloads. So bringing this together, and also some services, for instance, like clearing, payment services, insurance services. So we have here 3 major added value services of Kobo 360. That is Kobo Care for truck owners, so financing, discounts on fuel and tires. So we have an economy of scales effect. I have small truck owners operating maybe only a single truck, and if they are part of this Kobo 360 network, they can get better conditions for fuel, for tires. That's it for the time being. Might increase if they have repair services or something like this. So then we have insurance services, so an added value service for cargo owners, and pay faster financial solutions for credit services across multiple locations. So that's all brought together in this platform Kobo 360. Quite interesting. Have a look at their website to find more information about this. Another example is Snowcode or Snoocode. That was founded more than 10 years ago. and they provide digital addresses as a building block upon which they have platform services. So in Africa, it's a problem to ship goods to certain locations if you don't know the exact addresses. So SNUCode provides this alphanumeric code, and then they have additional services like route optimization for transport or verification services of goods delivery. So has something been delivered or not? And they also just recently in April this year a partner with Liberia for launching the National Postal Digital Addressing System. And again, check with their website to find more information. We have also one of SNUCode's founders part in our high-level advisory board of our DIGILOGIC project. And another example of a logistics platform in Africa from seed to sale, FarmShine, founded in Kenya. And it's a trading platform. So farmers, buyers, service providers can trade on this platform based on blockchain technology. So you have some contracting services, you know who has offered what and what are the orders there. You can use this for traceability. So from which area did these products come from, and use it for pooled purchasing or higher value crops there. Then this does some change. So the man in the middle, so service layers can be eliminated. So that's a typical game changer of these platforms as well. Saving money, of course, for farmers and buyers, but changing the business for trading companies. Okay, and other challenges we have to consider when we are implementing such platforms in the B2B, business to business domain. It's different than this Amazon and Facebook examples. These are B2C areas. So that's the opportunity to start a new platform. So in logistics, a lot is not it's going on between companies and not between companies and consumers. So especially in the Western world, that market is quite tough. So this is a B2C market, or even the C2C markets, that would be services like eBay, so between customers. What we have with the business-to-business environment, it is specialized. So it changes from country to country, from business to business or business sector. That's an opportunity for people with local knowledge or with branch-specific knowledge to build up such platforms. The customers, the businesses, they demand high degree of adaptation and modification, and trust is a major issue. On the flip side, yeah, you have to somehow convince customers that businesses that going to a platform is a good idea. Establish processes, and thinking outside of the box is always hard. So business model development is a challenge in that area, especially also in terms of revenue sharing. So what happens if with this platform, one company has to do a lot of work and the other one is sharing is gaining all the profits? How to have some kind of fair distribution of revenues there? And finally, we are talking about companies that exchange data and information. So finally, if you want to do something in that area, so it's somehow, as Carina said, the bigger a platform is, the more attractive it is, and you need to gain somehow a critical mass, a chicken egg problem. And our opinion is that it is necessary to build on trust. And do this by integrating partners and stakeholders early. Their technologies can help, especially blockchain technologies. We had a tech talk on that 4 weeks ago. Check our website to find more about this. We need to have according business models. So who is doing the work? What kind of services are offered? How is revenue generated and accounted for? What are the revenue sharing mechanisms? Cost benefit distribution schemes and things like this. And furthermore, it's our conviction that these kinds of solutions should be open source based. To gain more momentum, to be open, that people can use other services. I think we can learn a lot here from the internet, where most of the basic infrastructure is open source based, and that has generated a lot of benefits for participants. It's not a technology, it's a cooperation and collaboration model, but it helps to foster open innovation processes. And of course, lastly, you have to enable partner to use digital infrastructure. So that's why this project is here, to give some inspiration, to provide partners for discussing ideas, pairing partners for coaching. So these are the topics that are important in our respect for digital platforms and marketplaces. And that concludes it for the talk part of this tech talk. And I would hand over then to the Q&A session. And do you have questions? We can check what has already been put in the chat there. I think there was one question from Purity Kamundi on how to engage with the bootcamp. I've missed the first part.
To
bring value.
Yeah.
You want just buy from a
there's some.
Truth is that if I say I'm going to Jumat now,
There's some background noises right now. Is it intended? Okay. I don't know with bootcamp, Charlotte, can you help to answer that question? Do you
Yes.
know more than myself on this topic?
Yes, of course. Happy to answer the question. The bootcamp is part of our challenges program. So if you have an idea that is within the logistics area, and actually more specifically within the area of warehousing, transportation, point of sale, or end user experience, then you are very welcome to hand in your idea into our call for proposals. I will post the link into the chat so you can find it. And then we will review all applications. And the 12 best hand-ins will be chosen to participate in our bootcamp, which will take place in Europe. And as Marcus said earlier, we are taking account of all the costs for traveling to the bootcamp. And we will, all those 12 participants will meet together and have some workshops. And after this, the next half year, we will work very intensively together with you on your idea to develop it to a market-ready product. And we have some dedicated mentoring support here as well. So yeah, all you need to do is sign up for the challenges that Paola kindly just posted into the chat. So feel free to check it out on our website.
Thank you, Carla.
Okay, so then there was another question in the chat, but please feel free to make some comments or questions also with your microphone. So it's not necessary to do everything via chat. So there was another question on the recording, if this will be shared. Yes, it will be shared, but we want to attract you to our platform. So you might have to register to, it's no big deal, to download this recording, but also to check in other recordings, like for instance, on blockchain technology or artificial intelligence and logistics. Okay. Further remarks and questions? Or experiences? It's always difficult with so many people.
Or maybe a question from my side. Does anyone of you who are in the call have thought about, founding a startup or creating a platform yourself? Or do you have something in the back of your mind where you say, oh, a platform would really solve this problem? Anything from the top of your head that you would maybe like to discuss or share with us?
Raymond.
Yes, thank you very much. So for me, I realized that in Ghana, a number of the transport service operators, that's the long buses, they don't have softwares to monitor the packages that are sent from one location. I thought of coming up with a software or application that can monitor packages from one location to the other with the details of the sender and the receiver, so that immediately a package is sent from, say, Kumasi to Accra, you know who sent it, the person's ID, and all that. This came to the fore particularly because I traveled to one part of Ghana, that's in the northern part, somewhere in November, and I slept in a hotel. And for a program, and I was in a hurry to catch a flight to another location. So I left something in the hotel, my passport, my pen drive, and some other jackets. And since then, I've been very busy. I couldn't follow up on the item for barely about 6 months. When I went back recently, you realize that everything is done manually. There's no computer or there's no software to capture the details. Now I've lost the contacts of the person who sent the items to me, and we can't trace the items. They've found a way to search and search and search, and they've not been successful. But if there's a way to track, if there's a way to easily check the system, maybe the software or something, they will know exactly when the item arrived, and then have my details to call me and all that, instead of having a bulk of paperwork and having to do this paper notebook where people's details are kept, for months and months and all that. So it's something that I'm really thinking about. I'm here to really refine it, but when I saw the challenge, it kind of aroused me. So I would like to polish it a little bit and then present it.
Yeah, that's an interesting application area. If you are thinking about this tracking and tracing services, the easiest would be to connect this with other services, so that you say, okay, I booked something on a bus or on a truck for transport, and with this booking, I can already do some financial processing, and I know about the states there. So it comes into the process, for instance, application of blockchain technology also to document it. Okay, there was something really shipped there, and that was acknowledged by the according driver. I know I have a trace there. That can be done with technology, but it's not only a topic of the technology, it's always a topic of the overall process and the business model. Tracking and tracing alone is usually very difficult to find somebody who will pay for this. That's the situation here, especially in Germany. So platform approaches that provides this as an add-on services together with transaction services for order documentation, booking, financial services can be a solution. It's very difficult to answer this in 2 minutes here during such a talk, but we would be happy to drill down more into detail with you with a workshop, so-called company workshop. So if you have something in your mind there, please come back to us, and we would allocate more time to discuss this idea with you.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, and Charlotte just posted in the chat also how to do that. Further experiences or ideas? That seems not to be the case. Yeah, then I come to the end of this tech talk, giving a thank you to everybody for your time, for your contribution. Thanks also for Carina for compiling this information and doing most of the presentation. Please check our website for further tech talks. Please check our website for the recording, and there's a new message in the chat there. Oh, thank you from my side. Take care, all the best, and hope to see you soon during a workshop, a boot camp, or another Tech Talk. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye, and hopefully see you for the next Tech Talk.
Thank you too.